We've been using modifiers in a couple of our projects, and they're a great way for us to globally affect all of the strokes and objects that are on that grease pencil object. But there's another way that we can start to layer in some new effects and some new looks and feels across all of the strokes on our objects, and they're called grease pencil effects. Now, if we were to travel over here into our property panel, of course, we have the little wrench icon, which is the indication for a modifier, but directly below it, we have this visual effects properties, which is going to act very similar to that of a modifier. It's an effect that's going to be applied to everything on the object itself. Some of these have influence values, which allow us to filter the influence of the effect on a specific layer or a specific group. Others don't. So it's kind of hit or miss. It kind of depends on the technology. And some of them are very useful, and some of them have their own, I'm sure, custom effects that were intended for very specific purposes. For me, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a shadow. Now, if we look at, here's all the options that we have. We can blur our object. Now, it's important to point out that you're only going to see this in object mode. These are object level modifiers. Now, if you're in edit mode, watch what happens. Yoink, we don't see the blur. But the moment we go into object mode, this effect gets evaluated and overlaid inside of our scene. Now, this is kind of neat because now we can kind of create some really intense blurs if we wanted to, which has its own function. The samples is the quality of the blurs. If you keep going up, it's going to take longer to render, FYI, but it's kind of nice to be able to blur things from time to time. Remember, it's blurring everything. So if you just wanted to blur one component, you'll have to engineer your scene to do that. Maybe put it on a different object or duplicate the grease pencil object and then delete everything that you don't want to be blurred. Okay, so I want to show you the one that I want to work with. I want to put a shadow in here, the illusion of a drop shadow. And it's really easy if we go into the effects area. Now, check it out. Here's the shadow one, and then voila, we have a lovely little shadow being created for us. Now, this is going to perfectly match the strokes that we have here. So as we go through the different keyframes, the shadow is moving appropriately. Let's change the offset a little bit. I'm going to just push it down a little bit here. Get it out of the way. Yeah, there we go. And now I'm also going to, let's blur it quite significantly. Let's blur it by 15 pixels on the X and the Y. I'm going to increase the samples to, I don't know, 8 or so. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Maybe even a little bit more than that. Let's blur it 30 pixels by 30 pixels. Yeah, there we go. I'm liking that. And now we have a lovely little drop shadow. This is just a fun way for us to very quickly go in and add an effect that's going to be applied to the entirety of our animation without having to go in and worry about baking that drawing into the fact. It's even doing the dot dash modifier, which I forgot to turn off, but you can kind of see the idea behind this. Anytime we make a change to the animation, this effect is going to be applied to it. It's not linked to a specific drawing. It's being drawn and created after the fact at the object level. Experiment around with these different effects. There's a lot of fun ones in there. We want to use them strategically. Blurs and shadows. Sometimes the pixelate one is kind of neat and fun. They're neat ways to add in a new layer of detail and information into all of our animations and ones that we should absolutely be exploring.